mailing list at inspirenationshow.com, where you'll find even more great interviews and information you won't find anywhere else. That's
all right, why am I covered in gold?
And if you love the show, please support us by making
Hi,
a donation
everybody.
by signing up for our Backstage Pass. You'll get additional interviews, content,
hopefully,
you can't get
I'm about to go live. Hello, somebody.
Show going strong.
Say hi.
To make a donation and sign up for your Backstage Pass, simply visit inspirenationshow.com and click the Backstage Pass.
How's everybody going? I'm about to go live on my Unity radio show.
Stage Pass link. Thank you so much. We send you all our love. Shine bright. Woohoo!
Hi, Cornelia. How is everybody? Somebody say something so I can read the comments. Hello, Miss Melvs. Hello, you. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Diana. Sohia, Alicia, Lynn.
Wisdom moment taken from a talk at Unity on the River in Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Well, the power of understanding is the ability, straightforward, to comprehend knowledge.
Can you hear that?
To comprehend,
that's the show.
Interpret knowledge. And again, we can use this from an unconscious, like human.
Hello, Suzanne Morton. Yes, I don't know what this is, Stardust or something.
Based on past beliefs and based on thoughts and based on feelings.
Jasna, could be better. Sorry to hear it.
To be kind of fickle and unreliable. Or
hello, Suzanne Morton. Hello, Deborah Green and Ashley Marie. Hello, Charlotte. Light Sparkles. I was actually trying to have a moon thing. There was a moon and stars thing, but it didn't work. Let me see if I can change it to the moon and stars.
It comes from a much different place. It transcends that. Sometimes we experience this when we have bursts of realization.
I'm going live in about 2 minutes. Oh, I like this one.
Turns out I was right about that. I just had this intuitive hit. That's understanding. And we can consciously develop that and practice
where is that sun, moon, and stars mask?
The intuition.
Facebook have got some better. Sorry. No, that's not it.
Unity is committed to being a platform for the voices of change. We've made a special section
on
the
there
Unity
it is.
Website with resources.
Sorry, it's so boring, everybody. I will, if you're watching the rebroadcast, just flash forward about 5 minutes.
You'll find articles from Black leaders of New Thought, podcast discussions about racial challenges, prayers, meditations,
here we go,
and a video message from Unity World Headquarters CEO Jim Blake. Find it all at unity.org/standtogether.
Got about a minute.
Times we need the power of prayer more than ever. For decades now, someone has always been praying at Silent Unity, 24 hours a day, year after year. Now, you may join this prayer vigil online.
Prayer vigil?
Yourself or others when you enter the peaceful online
Can you hear all that?
See the map with lights to show where others are praying at the same time around the world. Take a moment to refresh yourself now at unityprayervigil.org.
Trying to get a card.
Would you like to experience more peace and joy in your life through A Course in Miracles? Let Reverend Jennifer Hadley support you in discovering the powerful life lessons available through this
Who wants a
unique
card?
spiritual thought system that teaches the way to love and peace is through forgiveness. Join Jennifer
Unity is
every
all about
Tuesday
praying
at
and
10 a.m.
meditation.
For A Course in Miracles. Living the
Don't know
love,
much about them
walking the
actually.
talk,
I just know Diane, who heads it up, who's amazing, and I love her. So I said yes. I don't know anyone else. Haven't really got to know them either.
816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555.
A personal issue reaches resolution. Here we go. Show starting.
This is Astrology with Yasmin.
Hello, everybody. How are we? I'm Yasmin Boland. I'm an astrologer. I'm a moonologer. I'm broadcasting live on Facebook and on unityonlineradio.org. So, what's news, everybody? How you all doing? How you all feeling? How you all coping? It's been a pretty intense couple of weeks. We've had all sorts of strange things happening in the skies. This week we had a fair bit of Mercury argy-bargy, let's call it that. That means Mercury, the planet of communications, has been a bit strange. It's been clashing with other planets, and it's been making people feel a little bit emotionally unwell. So if you've been feeling a little bit emotionally unwell, you have my sympathies. And it's not over yet, so we all need to be resilient, and we all need to do our chanting or our meditating or our praying or whatever you do to get yourself through the night. Time to keep doing it, because actually tomorrow there's a pretty tense link, which is between Mars and Saturn. Mars is the planet of anger, and Saturn is basically the immovable object. Okay, so I'll get into that in a minute. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm also going to be talking about the full moon that's coming. I'll talk about forgiveness. I might even do a little bit of a forgiveness ceremony. And I will be taking your calls. So if you are watching on Facebook and you would like to call me, I've put the number in the description. But for those of you listening on the radio, the number is to call from the States, 816-251-3555. That is 816-251-3... Did I say 8 before? 3555. I'll say it one more time. 816-251-3555. So there you go. So yes, it's been a pretty intense week. How are you coping? I think we're all, I don't know, is it that we're coming out of the COVID-19 situation? We're going into the COVID-19 situation. I know in the States it's all hotting up because you've got your election coming up and all these big things happening, and with Kamala Harris, and I think of her more than I think of Joe Biden or Donald Trump, because I actually really like her. Actually, just a little message for my Libra listeners. Kamala Harris, and this is not a political announcement, Kamala Harris is a Libran, okay? She is a Libran. And it's kind of interesting for Librans right now. If you are a Libran, this message is for you. You guys have had quite intense astrology for the past couple of years, because you had Saturn, the very tricky planet, the planet of harsh realities that you didn't want to face and lessons you had to learn. You had Saturn actually squaring your sun, your SUN. And in fact, that also applies if you are Aries, or if you are, let me just see, where is Saturn there? Yeah, if you're Aries or Cancer or Capricorn or Libran, it's been trial by Saturn. And we are now at the very, very end of that. It's also been trial by Pluto, but that's a much longer story. And the reason why I thought of this is Kamala Harris is a Libran. And, you know, at this point, if depending on how the election goes, obviously if Donald Trump gets elected, Mike Pence is going to be VP. But if Joe Biden gets elected, Kamala Harris will be VP. And a lot of people are saying that she could end up being P, president. In which case she would be the first, obviously, female president ever in the USA, which is kind of a big deal. And it's kind of a nice little kind of message for all the Librans out there, because she's a Libran. All that stuff you've been through in the last few years, if you've learned your lessons, this is when it can all start to pay off. Actually, ditto if you're an Aries, if you've been through a whole lot of stuff. Actually, also if you're a Cancerian or a Capricorn. Basically, if you're a cardinal sign, so Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, your life could change now. All the hard work you've put in will start to make your life a bit easier. But in particular for Librans and Aries people, or Aries and Librans people, to put the signs in the right order, It's actually extra good for you, because what's going to happen is that very soon, I think it's December, not November, I get confused, but it's either November or December. I'm pretty sure it's December. Saturn is going to change signs for the first time in 2 years and move into the sign of Aquarius. Now, obviously, if you're Aquarian or Leo, it's going to be challenging, and that's okay, because we all have to go through Saturn about every 7 years we get a Saturn hit one way or another. But if you happen to be Libra or Aries, or even if you have either of those two signs rising, it's actually going to be good, because all the trial by Saturn you've had in the last 2 years is actually going to turn around, and Saturn is going to start to support you. Yes, indeed. I know that might be hard to believe, but it's going to make your life easier. So, does that mean Kamala Harris is going to end up the president of the United States in some time? Not necessarily, but you know what? Saturn's actually the planet of government as well, so it doesn't hurt her that she has Saturn on her side. Joe Biden is a Scorpio, and Donald Trump is a Gemini. Here in the UK, Boris Johnson is a Gemini, and Sir Keir Starmer is a Virgo. So there you go. Lots of star signs. They've all got their star signs. And let me just say one thing as well while I'm talking about the American election, while remaining utterly partisan. It's really hard to predict who's going to win. And shall I tell you why? Let me give you an analogy. About 12 or 14 years ago, I was asked to predict who was going to win Big Brother. Do you have that show in the States? I know we had it here in England, and that was in Australia, but it's where they have all the people in the house, and do you have that show, the reality TV show? They basically put lots of people in a house and see who gets on and who argues with each other and who gets evicted and all that. Anyway, so someone asked me, someone who was one of the producers asked me, could I please do the astrology for all the contestants and see who was going to win? So I actually had a look, but the thing was, right, and I want you to understand this, the thing was that all of them had amazing astrology, because guess what? They had all been plucked out of obscurity to be on national television. They were having a moment in the sun. So even though some of the astrology was very telling, I actually got the charts before I saw the show. And I remember one person's chart in particular, I was like, oh, this is kind of an interesting one. Nobody knows who this person really is. And it actually turned out that this guy was a transvestite. I think my son keeps telling me all the words for everything keep changing. But it was a man who dresses up as a woman. So, of course, nobody actually did know who he really was, because he was always in full makeup. So that was interesting. But I said to the producers, you can't really pick who's going to win, because they're all having amazing astrology, which is why they're all having this moment in the sun. And it's kind of the same, in my humble opinion, with the presidential race in the States, because obviously Donald Trump and Pence, can't remember his first name, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they all have amazing astrology right now, because guess what? They're all in line for either the top job or the second top job in the United States. And some people say the top job in the world. Okay, and I don't know if the Americans know that, but people do refer to, the American presidency as the top job in the world. I saw a friend of mine in Australia saying that today. It is considered, like the top job in the world by many people. And I don't really know why. Maybe because you're such a big country. It's not that we think America's better than England or Australia, but it's big and, it's a big job. Anyway, oh yeah, Mike Pence. Thanks, Sammy. So, guess what? They've all got amazing astrology because they're all in an amazing position. And win or lose, being in line for the top job in the world is always going to mean you have amazing astrology, Now, could we drill down on it a bit more? Probably. But I'm not going to, because I will just get myself into trouble and people will start to accuse me of being, you know, playing party politics. And I've been around long enough to know that I'm on a hiding to nothing when I start to do that. Also, just while I'm having a bit of a general rave, let me also talk a little bit about COVID-19 and astrology. Because it's kind of interesting, and I'm actually kind of keen to get this information out there, even though I'm not going to be terribly conclusive. But here's the thing. Okay. I may be wishful thinking, but I do think this whole thing could come to an end by the end of the year. Okay, now why? Well, because this year there has been an amazing astrological alignment, which only happens, let's see, about every 12 years or 20 years. I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe it's about every 20 years. It's not common, okay? And which is Jupiter-Pluto meeting. I should know that. I actually wrote this down so I could tell everybody. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I didn't write it down, but it should be about, I guess it's about every 12 or 13 years. It's a big thing. Anyway, it's happening this year and it's a big thing. And it started in April, around about the time that the whole COVID-19 thing kicked off. Hang on, just one second. I'm just looking up the answer to that question because, oh yes, about every 13 years. And it happened when, at the start of lockdown, and it does speak about everything that we've been through, which is focusing on death, basically, which is what we've all done all year, because everybody's just thought about death all year because of COVID-19. And, you know, it's either been arguing that it's a big hoax, which actually goes with the Jupiter-Neptune alignments we've had this year, or people just focusing on death and losing friends and so on. So it started back in April, early April, which is when lockdown really kicked in around the world. And also just before then, when it was all starting to kick off, Mercury was retrograde. Well, we're about to have another Mercury retrograde, and Jupiter's about to make its third and final alignment to Pluto in about, again, actually I've got it right in front of me. It'll be on November the 12th. So I believe that it's possible that we will see the end of COVID by the end of the year. Now, Pluto is all about the healing crisis. And for a lot of people, this year has been a crisis which has healed them in some way or other. Not everybody, of course. Some people have got very sick. Some people have actually passed away. Some people have lost loved ones to the virus. But some people, or a lot of people, I think, have had a chance to reassess their lives. They've had a chance to think about what they actually want for themselves. They've had a chance to think about, are they happy with the way they're living their life, and are changes needed? So for some people, this crisis has been healing. And, you know, I think for, obviously a lot of people it hasn't been healing. A lot of people have had mental health issues. And I think it's arguable that for the children it hasn't been that helpful necessarily, though I was reading the other day, some kids have benefited from being at home for a while, getting off the merry-go-round of all the dramas of high school and all that. But anyway, basically this is how I see it. Either we get to the end of this whole thing by the end of the year, and it's not out of the question. There is now, bear with me if you don't wear masks. If you're anti-masks, this is not anti-you, this is just a study. A study found recently, just looking for my mask, I had a mask here. A study recently just found that masks could actually be helping people to get immunity, for the simple reason that wearing a mask, if you have COVID and you breathe out on someone, then you breathe out less. There's less viral shedding because your face is covered. Or if you're near someone and they've got COVID and they breathe out or they cough or they speak loudly or whatever, there's a little bit of viral shedding that can come through, a little bit of virus, but less. And what this latest study said was that it's possible that just a little bit of virus that comes through with masks is actually enough to trigger your immune system so you can actually get immunity without being enough to make you sick. Okay, so there's that. There's the idea that possibly, because, you know, a large percentage of the population, I would say, 75% of the population of the world? I mean, that's just a guess. But, you know, a large percentage of the world has been wearing masks, and it would make sense that maybe we've been giving each other immunity. Fingers crossed. And the other thing that I read is that another new study that's just come out is that there's a hope that in fact this current resurgence of cases that we've just seen could be related to the fact that all the university students have just gone back, and so all the numbers are up because of that. But in fact, for one thing, most of them, touch wood, tend to be quite young and hopefully won't be terribly badly affected. And for another, once that situation settles down with all those tests picking up all the university students, it could actually be that the numbers go down and we start to get back to normal. So, you know, please God, please God, please God. Yeah, so there are two possibilities, you know, from the real world, so to speak. And astrologically, which is my real world, but I know not everybody agrees with astrology, but hopefully if you're listening, you're into astrology. My feeling is that, you know, the astrology could bring the end of this at the end of this year. What's really interesting as well is that next year, 2021, well, there are some pretty tough astrological aspects going on, namely, hang on, just give me a second here. Let me get it right. We have these rather nasty looking Saturn-Uranus squares, okay? Now, okay, just a couple more seconds on COVID, okay? And then I'm going to take some calls. But basically, Saturn is the planet of hard facts, harsh realities, and right now is in the sign, well, will be as of a couple of weeks from now, as of, oh God, I'm so bad with dates. I just am bad with dates, and I just need to make sure I get them right. So, yep. Saturn is going to move into the sign of Aquarius on December 17, okay? Now, Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn is the planet of prisons, okay? Prisons. And Aquarius is the sign of humanity. And what have we all been in this year? A kind of a prison. Lockdown was kind of like being in prison, wasn't it? We couldn't leave the house. In Australia, they're not allowed to leave the country. They can't get out of Australia. You know, it's all been quite intense. And so we are going to have this Saturn squaring Uranus thing next year. So I'm hoping that's going to represent the aftermath of this whole 2020 business, as opposed to being more lockdown. But I think if we don't manage to get it right between now and the end of the year, whatever that means, whether that means, you know, we have another lockdown, or we all wear masks, or we all just go out and go crazy and go for herd immunity, or whatever you think is the right way to handle this. I'm not commenting on that. What I'm commenting on is, unless we manage to find a way to get back to a normal life by the end of the year, astrologically speaking, Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus could be more lockdown, but I really hope it's not going to be. I actually think what's more likely is it's going to be the financial aftermath of 2020. So I just thought I'd share that. And just one thing more to say about this week. We get the full moon, okay? We're getting the full moon this week in the sign of Aries. And it's going to be taking place on Thursday night UK time, which is Friday morning Australian time and Thursday afternoon USA time. Someone's saying no fears, love, positive vibe only works. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. But I must admit, I'm one of the people who struggled with fearful thoughts during this period. Yeah, I did find, actually I found it easier in lockdown in a way, because at least I had no choice. Whereas now I'm like, you know, I'll go out, like we didn't go out this weekend, we cancelled everything. But the previous weekend I went to the farmer's market, and, you know, like I'm always like, oh, did that person cough at me? Oh my God. So, and I've stopped doing my chanting, which I have to start again because that was really helping me as well. But, you know, like to anyone who's fearless, you're an evolved being, and I salute you. So this full moon in Aries this week is taking place just near the wounded healer Chiron, okay? And Chiron is a really, really powerful energy. It's a planetoid, but it's about healing. So I'm actually going to be doing a full moon ceremony, which is absolutely free on Facebook, on the Hey House page, I think. Anyway, you can register it for free at moonmessages.com/FB events for Facebook events. And yeah, so I'm going to do that. And I actually think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a focus on healing, because I kind of wish that somebody out there, even me, had organised a big worldwide healing for this full moon, because it is a very potentially healing full moon. And, you know, obviously, what does the planet need right now? It needs healing, okay? So, yeah, join me go to moonmessages.com/FB events if you'd like to come along and join me for the ceremony. Otherwise, just focus on healing. You know, send out healing. If you're a Reiki person who can do, you know, the Reiki symbols, send out the symbols all over the world, and do it, you know, morning, noon and night, literally. You know, if you meditate on healing for the world, you know. And as somebody else was saying, you know, it's very important to try and step out of fear. You know, if you are in fear, and I go in and out of fear, if you're in fear, then it's really important to think, okay, I'm in fear, what am I going to do about it? One of the best things I can actually recommend that you can do if you go into fear, one of the things I've been doing for myself during this time, actually the chanting, when I was doing my Kali chanting, that was amazing, because I was invoking the goddess Kali, which I can tell you about if you'd like to know. And she's, you know, she's so strong and powerful, she kind of eradicates fear. But another thing is, if you have, if you've got YouTube, which everybody does if they're listening to this, look up solfeggio frequencies. solfeggio. It's SOLFEGGIO or something like that. And solfeggio frequencies are so healing, and I find them really, really powerful. So if I get scared or if I get worried, what I'll do is I'll put on my headphones and I will listen to some solfeggio frequencies. So give that a go. Oh, there's the outro. I'll be back after the break. Hi, Louis. Sorry, I got confused. I was looking at the wrong thing. Never mind. Looks so grey. I figure I'm going to end up all grey, and then it'll be like I'm blonde. So somebody said there's Jason said there's a healing on the 10th of the 10th. Let's have a look. 10 October 2020 healing meditation. Let's have a look. Can't see it, but if anybody has the information, I think it was Jason, was it, that said that? If anybody has the information, please let me know, because I would love to do 10-10 healing. We've got about 2 minutes and I'll be back on air. If you want to call in, if you're in the States, call in. The number again, let me tell you, 816-251-3555. Let's see, is there anybody waiting? Oh yeah, there's a couple of people. Oh, there's someone in London. Better answer that call. Didn't your ashram do a world healing? Yes, they've been doing world healing, and I've been doing world healing, but I want more. We still need more healing. We still need more healing. All right, Jason said he saw the thing on Facebook. Okay, well, if you see it again, please let me know. Yeah, I really hope it's going to be the end of it. What do you reckon? Is it possible? I'll tell you another thing. I didn't want to say this on air because I don't want to get too political, but there's a very good chance that we're going to have another, remember, like, I don't know, was it 12, 14 years ago when we had the American election, we had the hanging chads thing where, they didn't decide the election for weeks and weeks and weeks. Well, guess what? I'm pretty sure Mercury retrograde either begins or ends. I think it ends actually on November the 3rd, which is the USA election day. So it might be another one of those elections where they don't know who's won for a very, very long time. Okay, here we go, back on air. Oh no, got 1 more minute, I think. Sorry about that. So yeah, someone's saying they're going to send more healing. Yeah, we all need to send out healing. We all need to send out healing. That is the thing. What else is going on? What else are people saying? Joe, I framed a pic of Carly today as I'm Scorpio rising and I learned she's my goddess. Yes. Did you learn that? You would have learned that in my Written in the Stars webinar. If you are Sagittarius rising, Written in the Stars this month is for you. Can I do that? There we go. You. That is, if you're Sagittarius rising, it's www.moonmessages.com/written, WRITTN. Oh, here we go, back on air.
That's 816-251.
Moonmessages.com/written if you're Sag rising.
Find out what's happening in the skies. Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
Hey everybody, so we are back after our little break, and I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to the phone lines because there is someone calling in from England, and they were born in London. I don't know if they're still in London. For all I know, they're in the States. Are you there on line 1, Sahar? Hello? Hi, Saha. Where are you?
I'm in London.
Oh, where are you in London?
I'm in West London at the moment.
Right, I'm in Hammersmith. Where are you?
Notting Hill.
Oh, well, there you go. We're practically neighbours.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to meet you here.
I love Notting Hill. Everybody loves Notting Hill. So, Saha, what can we do for you today? What are you wondering about?
Well, I'm a little bit confused about my chart, so I'd just like to get a bit of clarity on a few things, like exactly which ascendant I am and where the moon was, etc. That time I was born specifically, because then depending on which place I look, I get different versions of it. And then the second thing is I just want to know any particular planetary significant alignments coming up in the next 6 months that are relevant to my chart that I could look out for. I've recently gone through quite a significant personal shift, and there's a few things professionally that I'm looking at. So I'm just, curious to know what's out there at the moment.
Okay, so let's start off with why you get different readings about your chart from one platform to another. What it is you are either Virgo or Leo rising, and it's only by a couple of minutes one way or another. So what we should probably do first is establish if you are Virgo or Leo rising. So the most obvious thing would be when you walk into a room, do you have big hair and a big personality and a fashion sense to die for, and everybody turns around and looks at you? Or do you more or less slink into the room quietly and see who's there and, if anybody's needs your help?
It's quite tricky because I'm a bit of both. So everyone does tend to notice, and I do stand out in terms of my style, but internally, like emotionally and whatever is going on inside, I kind of just want to slide in and not be noticed. So it's quite, you touched on quite an interesting thing there, because both things happen.
Okay, but the rising sign is about how you come across. Okay, so it's not about internal, it's about external. So if you've got quite a sense of style and you're a head turner, then you're almost certainly going to be Leo rising, not Virgo rising, which probably means that your birth time is out by, a few minutes, which wouldn't be that surprising because you've told me 7:30 p.m. And if it was just 9 minutes before, or was that 11 minutes before? Anyway, if it was 7:19 p.m., then you're Leo rising. So chances are you're Leo rising. And if you don't like the sound of that, it probably means you definitely are Leo rising, because most people don't like their rising signs. So did your mum say, I think it was about 7:30?
Yeah, she said, I think it was about 7:30 and he took ages to come out.
Yeah, no, it was probably about 7:20. Or 7:19, which would make you Leo rising. If you've got a big sense of style, if you're Leos, think of the classic Leos. There are two really classic Leos, and this bit old school now, but Madonna, she's a Leo, and Jerry Halliwell from the Spice Girls, who you would know because you're English. So they're both classic Leos. They're both people you notice. And if you're someone who's got a strong sense of style, even if you're quiet on the inside, you're almost certainly Leo rising. And the reason why you're probably quiet on the inside is because actually you're a triple Capricorn, and Capricorns are not show-offs, but Leo rising is a sign that gets noticed, whether it wants to get noticed or not. So let's adjust your chart to 7:19 and say, yes, you're almost certainly going to be a Leo, not a Virgo rising. All right, so what else did you want to know? Let's see. So you're a triple Capricorn and you've got the moon in Pisces. You've actually got Neptune, the planet of confusion, bang on your moon right now. So you might be feeling a bit confused about life, a bit confused emotionally. You said you've had a big shift personally. Was that a breakup or a job change, or what happened?
It was a marriage.
Ah, okay. Sorry about that. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So if you're feeling emotionally confused right now, that will be Neptune on your moon. And if you're not sure you're not sure about what's happened or how you feel, try to just sort of sit with the confusion for a little while. That will start to ease early next year. So you might just have to like sit with a bit of confusion for a while. What your chart really says at the moment as well, Saha, is you actually need to meditate. So do you meditate?
Yeah, I do meditate, but very sporadically. I've fallen out of habits recently.
Yeah, so keep meditating. That will really, really help you. The other really big thing that's going on in your chart right now is that you are about to have Saturn, the planet of karma and reality and growing up and all that, go over your sun, which only happens about once every 30 years. And it's very much a time to kind of get really real about what you want, you know, and to be really disciplined about working towards whatever you want. So is that something you feel like you could do?
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that for sure.
Yeah. Yep. Go on.
Next, so I can really empower this energy with any particular, other than Saturn coming in, any particular moon coming up that I can, apart from this full moon where I can release?
Yeah. So actually, just a second before I go into that. Also, you've also got Jupiter coming into your orb as well, which is also, so what's actually going to happen for you, Saha, is the next few months are going to be very interesting for you, and in fact the next year or two will be quite pivotal for you relationship wise. When did your marriage end?
No, I've just got married, so it's not ended, it's just started.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant you'd had a marriage finish. Okay, well, I was going to say, because now will be a very good time for you to meet the right person, but you've already met them, so that's good. So, in fact, what's going to happen in the next couple of years is you're going to have challenges as you settle into your marriage, but you're also going to have potentially a lovely time, but it's just going to be, everybody's going to have this in their chart somewhere. You happen to have it in your 7th house, which is your relationship zone. So it's going to be getting used to being married, having a really good time. Challenges, fun. Challenges, fun. And that's kind of the story for everybody. For you, because you appear to be Leo rising, it's actually going to be quite pronounced for you in your relationship life, or your most important relationships as well, not just with your husband or your wife, but with all your most important relationships, including your work situation. And I just want to say as well, in January, you're going to have the new moon on your sun. Actually on your sun. So it's going to be kind of next year, even though none of us know really what next year is going to hold yet. Next year is a big year for you. If you have any desire to write, next year's the year to get writing as well.
Okay, that's great.
So yeah, so big things coming up for you, but it's good you got married, because I was going to say you're about to have your best chance for 12 years to get married, but you've just got married, so you're on target.
Thank you very much, Yasmin. That's really good to hear.
All right, I'll speak to you later. Okay, so that was a bit funny, because I thought when she said she'd had a big personal shift, must mean either a breakup or the end of a job, but she actually meant she just got married, so she's already doing what she needs to do, so that's good. All right, let's take another call. Let's go to line, let me just see, sorry. Line 2, Carmen. who's online too. Are you there, Carmen?
Yes, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm excited.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Are you in Lafayette, Indiana, or that's just where you were born?
That's where I was born. I'm in Indianapolis now.
Okay. Is Indianapolis the capital of Indiana?
It is.
Right. So there you go. Were you born in the country and you've moved to the Big Smoke, or what?
You got it.
Ah, okay, cool. All right, so Carmen, you are a Piscean with an Aries moon and Capricorn rising.
Yes.
What would you like to know today?
Well, I'm in a similar boat as the last caller. I'm just really curious as to what's coming up for me in the next few months, more so for business.
Okay, so you have some really powerful astrology going on right now, Carmen, which is that the cluster of planets in Capricorn are pretty much bang on your ascendant. So for one thing, whatever's going on in your life right now, you've kind of chosen it. You've kind of picked it. You wanted to have this, whatever stuff is going on for you, your soul more or less elected to have this happen for your growth. Okay, so I hope whatever's going on for you is good and not too difficult. Let's see what else. It's a very potentially healing time for you. You've got Chiron, the wounded healer, about to go over your moon. So it can be a time for healing to do with your emotions, with your home, with your mother. What else is going on? Mars is retrograding. Where's Mars retrograding? In your 4th house. So there might be some delays to do with home and family. Career-wise, the next new moon, which is going to be in the middle of this month, will be in your 10th house of career. So that's going to be a really good time to be setting some intentions. In fact, now is a good time for you to be getting a work-life balance, and then in the middle of the month, it's going to be all about you can set your intentions at the new moon about career, because it's going to be in your career zone. What else can I tell you? What else would you like to know? Would you like a card?
Oh, I would love a card. Thank you.
Okay. So what do you do, Carmen?
I'm a spiritual coach, and I've been told recently that business is going to get so busy that I'll need to hire people.
Oh, very good.
And so things are ramping up for me right now. The healing is really more around relationships, just more loving myself. What does that look like? The fear of rejection. That's where the healing has been, what I've been working on.
Okay, well, that's really good. That's exactly what you should be doing. And also, when you do that, look and see if there is something from your own family or your childhood that has impacted you, or maybe something even to do with your mum and the way she is or was or behaved or was treated, that's maybe had some impact on you. And look and see if there's a bit of room for healing there as well.
Great, thank you.
So I have a card for you, and you got this card that keeps coming up at the moment. It's the New Moon in Leo card. It's confidence is the key to your success. So whatever it is you want to do, it's all about being confident.
That sounds about right. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for calling in, Carmen. So, yeah, like there's a lot going on at the moment, guys. We are actually, we could say we are at a pivotal time for the planet. What's going to happen? Okay, so I was saying that quite soon the planets are going to change signs. Let me just get you those dates again. So hang on quickly. So Jupiter and Saturn are going to be changing signs and moving from Capricorn into Aquarius in December, okay, mid-December. And when they do that, they're actually starting a new 150 years plus cycle. Okay, 150 years plus cycle. So we're moving into a new cycle, because what's going to happen is Jupiter and Saturn are going to start conjoining in Aquarius, and which is an air sign. And for the past 150 years, they've been conjoining in the earth sign, in an earth sign. So we're moving into new territory here, guys. Life is changing, and we all need to live consciously and just do what we can for our fellow person. Don't judge people. Don't be always, you know, trying to pull one over someone, all that kind of stuff. It's very much a time for humanity to kind of come together, you know, or suffer the consequences, basically. So let's have a look at Catherine on line 3. Somebody, before I speak to you, Catherine, somebody's saying, how do I call in? 816, the number to dial is 816-251-3555. 816-251-3555. Okay, so Catherine, are you there?
Yes. Hi. How are you? Yasmin?
Hello. Good, thank you, Catherine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, I'm just putting your details into my chart here. So, where are you, Catherine?
Virginia.
So, where you were born?
I was born in Virginia. I was born in Alexandria.
And you live there now?
No, I live in another part of Virginia.
Oh, okay. All right. So you are a Libran, but you actually have 5 planets and points in Virgo. So you're actually like a closet Virgo. So if ever you don't feel like a Libran, that's why.
Oh, interesting. I think I heard that before.
So yes, you're Libran with Aquarius rising and a Virgo moon. So what would you like to know today?
I don't know. I just have been going through a lot of changes, and since my birthday was just yesterday, I thought I would call in to see what you see.
What changes are you going through before I assume you're getting divorced when you're actually getting married, like I did to the first caller today?
I don't know. I'm having relationship issues, but then I have other people interested. I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Work, I think, is going okay, but I'm waiting for some things to come through to build more stability, and I'd like to start studying some things I've been interested in, but haven't had the time, or maybe the motivation, I guess, because this whole COVID thing.
Okay, so basically the full moon that's going to take place this week is going to trigger your Chiron return that you're actually having right now. So it's funny because we were talking about healing the world, and then we were talking about healing about people healing, and now in your chart there's really strong healing in there as well. So I mean, if you're in a relationship that's not feeling that good, you know, it might be a good time to start working on healing that relationship or healing yourself, or there's a really strong healing vibe around at the moment, actually. Yeah, so there's that. Work-wise, let's have a look. Work-wise, you've actually got Mercury, the planet of communications, in your career zone. However, towards the end of October, Mercury's going to go into reverse, into a retrograde. So if you want to redo, rethink, revise, revisit, or revamp your career, it's going to be a really good time for it. What else? The new moon is going to be a good time, which is in about 2 weeks' time, will be a really good time for you if you want to, well, traveling is not that easy at the moment, but if you can travel within the States or doing study, it's a really good time to set some intentions around that. I think the biggest thing for you, Catherine, is probably the move of Jupiter and Saturn into your first house, which is going to take place at the end of the year and is going to be a time for you to like be the boss and have more fun. That's one of the most positive possible aspects to have. Yeah, kind of interesting because all the people who are Aquarius rising, you're about to have some pretty interesting astrology. The good news, because you're Libran, as I was saying, like with our famous Libran Kamala Harris, you're going to have Saturn and Jupiter supporting you. So yeah, like you're probably, I think it's fair to say you're going into a better period.
Good. In all areas I have.
More or less, actually, yes.
Potentially be a business for me, at least on the side, until I could get it going to be more lucrative. So I'm just trying to, I don't know, I guess the COVID thing has killed a lot of motivation for a lot of people. So
yeah. What do you do, Catherine?
I'm in sales right now. But for a good company, I was a new position I took over the summer. So I'm still proving myself with that, but I do have some other interests. Like I said, I wanted to study, and that could be a potentially good business, I think, for me. But
okay, do you know what? I didn't actually hear you saying you want to study, but so the new moon this month is in your study zone. So use the new moon to harness the study vibes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
You said I have more planets than Virgo. Does that mean I'm more Virgo than Libra? I've actually been dating a Virgo.
Right. Well, what date of the month is he?
What date? August 29th.
29th. Let's have a look. August 29th. Let's just quickly look. August 29th. Hang on. Here we go. August 29th. So his sun, actually his sun is on your moon. Should be okay. Could be a bit argumentative, but you know, you are very Virgo, even though you're a Libran. The main thing I think for you right now is honestly healing, and more healing. So work out what needs healing.
Yeah.
That's your best bet.
For right now.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
It really is. All right, would you like a card?
Yeah, I would. Thank you.
All right. Okay, here comes a card for Catherine. And then I'm going to do a card for everybody who's listening. All right. Oh. So, you got one of the least favorite cards in the deck if there's something you really want to have happen, which is the Void of Course Moon, which says nothing will come of this situation. But if you're worried about something, it's a very good card because it means nothing will come of the situation. So I'm going to have to leave it to you to work out which it means.
Okay.
Yes. Funny vibe today. Sorry about that, Catherine. I hope that doesn't disconcert you.
It does a little bit. We'll see.
Well, I mean, let me just quickly look here. I think we come back to the thing of what you really need to focus on is healing. Healing, and more healing. So whatever this relationship is, if you make it healing, it will have been what you needed it to be.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you, Yasmin.
My pleasure. I'm sorry you didn't get to hear exactly what you wanted to hear. Okay, so I think that's it for this week. I just want to make a shout out to Saha, who I spoke to at the top of the calls, because I assumed when you said you had a personal shift that you'd had a divorce, okay? I just want to say to you, Neptune on your moon would make sense. That would sound like being confused emotionally if you just got a divorce. However, knowing that you've actually just got married, Neptune on your moon can actually play out in different ways. For example, being confused about where to live or having some confusion around your mother or another important woman in your life. So I don't want you to think, oh my God, you know, like bad emotional confusion. You are certainly not doomed to that. And I can only put the astrology in the context of what I know about you. And I'm afraid I jumped to the conclusion with your word personal shift to be about something negative rather than something positive. So lots of love, because guess what, guys? That's it for another week. And I very much hope to speak to you next week, and I hope to see you at my free full moon ceremony. Lots of love.
All right.
Thank you, Louie.
Good job. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
So there we go. Now a card for anyone who's still watching on Facebook. Do you like my new instant eyeliner that I got? Let me see. All right. Yeah, poor Sahara. I hope I didn't confuse her. It sounded like a bad thing. And, you know, I hope I explained that. Me, I'm good. Aoife's asking, am I okay? I'm good, thank you, Aoife. I had a shocking week last week. But do you know what? I was talking about solfeggio frequencies. I've literally been listening to solfeggio frequencies while I fall asleep. And I think it's really helped me a lot. So anybody who is feeling crappy, go and get your solfeggio frequencies on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. And it's actually really healing. Sound is so healing. And do your meditations, take it easy. You know, if you start tuning into something that you think, oh, that's really negative, tune out. You know, like Jason found some global meditations. Great. I'd love to do the one on the 10th of the 10th. I'm going to do a card, okay? So who wants a card? Put it in the comments. Yes, I want a card. And what your question is. Daphne says, how do you spell solfeggio? I think it's SOLFEGGIO. So it's kind of how it sounds, solfeggio. SOLFEGGIO, I think. Yeah, no, it's really, really good. It's really good. All right, I'm just giving people a chance to say they want a card. Solfeggio frequencies, they're so healing. It's really made me feel better. Thank God, touch wood, because I wasn't feeling that good. Just remember there's Mars square Saturn tomorrow as well. It's, you know, it's not the easiest period ever. Okay, here's the card. Okie dokie. So this card is going to answer everything from should I have surgery to should I sell my house? They can, normally. What frequencies do I listen to the solfeggio frequencies in? Look, I'm not too fussy. I don't know that much about it. And I just listen to, like, you know, it always says like 792 hertz or 982 hertz or whatever. I just pick one that looks kind of, that feels right. I just follow my intuition. What is the divine trying to show me? How do I get motivation? I've got so many. Gosh, I hope this card can answer all these questions. Oh. This is my favorite card in the whole deck. Maybe it's all we need to know. You and your loved ones are safe. So that is, to me, that's the most important thing. If me and my loved ones are safe, all is well. Now, let's just see what else it means, because it's got more meanings than just that. All right, so there's a new start coming in your private life. So people who are asking about selling their house or a new job. Something is rising up in connection with the people and places you hold dearest. This can be to do with a member of your family, a flatmate, or moving house. If you're hoping to move forwards with something special, this card comes to you as a message that you can do it. If you've been neglecting your family, have a word with yourself. It's time to reconnect with them. If you've been neglecting yourself, you need to take better care of yourself and nurture yourself more. If insecurity is holding you back, that's something for you to work on now. Doing so could bring your heart's desire. Yay. Additional meanings for these cards. Let someone get a bit closer to you. A new cycle is starting for your child or children. It's time to review your goals. Have they changed? Meditation will help you banish insecurities, and spending time near water will bring you peace and answers. And someone said, I've got those cards. These are my cards. These are the Moonology Oracle cards, which are my cards, done with the amazing Nyx Rowan. Hugs to you, Aoife. Hope you're okay. So, on that note, I'm going to say I'll see you later.